What's up, good nerds? Time to get served with your boy Phil. How we doing? I hope you're digging the new format. I got some fresh clips for you. Happy Sunday. Let's get rolling, nerds. First one's out of Reno, and no one knows what this guy is talking about.
Good morning, Mr. Pope.
How you doing?
Mr. Pope, you were charged in a criminal complaint dated yesterday, March 8th, with the crime of obstructing and resisting a police officer, as well as battery. The battery indicates on the complaint that you used willful and unlawful force against a person of another, which caused injury. That person was Jimmy Colbraith, I think.
Is it true? Not true. Okay.
Do you understand the charge?
Yes, I do.
And how do you wish to plead to the two charges of battery and obstructing and resisting?
I want to say no contest on one of them. And
Well, has an offer been tendered, Mr. Puentes?
All right, he wants to plead no contest to the battery and guilty to the obstructing is what he means by that.
That's fine, Your Honor. All right, is that your understanding, Mr. Pope, of what you want to do here, sir?
well, I guess that's what I got to follow along what you guys say, if that's fine.
No, you don't have to do that, sir. That's what you told me you wanted to do. What would you like to do?
What they would say, so I don't know a lot very well, sir.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pope, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can you move the microphone closer or get closer to it?
Okay, she asked me. That's what I thought. My bad. See, I'm sorry.
All right, so Mr. Pope, what your lawyer and I am trying to tell you is that you don't have to do anything here today.
No, I won't do that. No, I won't do that. I won't do exactly what he said. It's all right. It's fine with me.
Okay, so your lawyer told me that you want to enter a plea of guilty to the obstructing and resisting and no contest to the battery. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And what is your plea to the battery?
I guess no contest.
All right, and to the obstructing and resisting, sir?
Well, I want to say something else, but no contest as well.
Okay, you understand that by entering pleas of no contest to these charges, the court, which is me, will find you guilty of those offenses?
Yeah, I know. I understand.
All right, and did you understand your constitutional rights?
The best I knowledge, yes, I can of what my constitutional right. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
All right, so your constitutional rights include your right to have a trial, to cross-examine your witnesses, to make statements in court. If you understand that you won't be having a trial if you enter these pleas of no contest.
Yes, I understand about that. I know everything about when you go like this, you're pretty much guilty, pretty much say you ain't guilty, but you think you have a reasonable doubt. The state might have find a way of enough to find you guilty, even though there might be some lack of evidence not, but it's still find a way to find you guilty, even though you might not know if it's right or not true, but it's still they're gonna find out guilty or not.
All right, and do you understand that the maximum possible penalty for each of these offenses could be up to 6 months in jail and or a $1,000 fine? So you could be looking at a year in jail and $2,000 in fines.
Yeah, change
Yes.
okay, yeah, but yes, I do.
All right, sir. And have you served in the United States military?
No, I haven't. I have not, but I wish I have. I mean, I like military and stuff like that. That'd be nice too.
All right, so Mr.
Okay, I'm
Pope,
so sorry, Honor. She told me to do. All right, sorry. Yes, no. You know, so I thought.
the court, Mr. Pope,
I don't think he's being a smartass at all or anything. At first, I thought he was being a smartass. I just think he rambles. He's crazy.
if you'd be quiet for a second. The court will accept your pleas of no contest as freely, voluntarily, and knowingly entered. Based upon my recent interaction with Mr. Pope, Mr. Puentes, do you think that there's any type of competency question here?
Based on my limited interaction with him, Your Honor, I don't think so. He seems to ramble on a little bit when asked questions, but he might just be nervous. I don't know.
Okay.
He's been in long enough where I don't think he's under the influence of anything.
All right. So, Mr. Pope, do you have any questions about anything that's happened here to this morning?
No, Judge, I'm just keeping quiet. No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to speak in just a moment. It's just that when we're being recorded, if two people talk at the same time, the recording is very terrible. It's unclear, okay?
Sorry, ma'am.
So I'll hear from the city attorney as to a recommendation for sentencing. Ms. Schuman?
Your Honor, we'd like to continue this to Monday so that we can contact the victim in this case, James Colbert, to see if he would like to make any type of statement pursuant to Marcy's law.
All right. So, Mr. Pope, the law requires that when the city attorney asks to get for a reasonable amount of time to have the victim appear to make a statement, I have to give them that time. So I'm going to hold you on a no bail hold until Monday morning for sentencing. And that gives the victim the opportunity to show up and make a statement about what they think you should receive as a sentence. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
All right, so we'll continue your matter without there'll be no bail until Monday morning at 8:30, okay? All right, do you have any questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right, you're excused.
This next one's out of Van Zant, Texas, and Judge Martin has made appearances here on time served. He's very hard-nosed, to the point. He works with defendants. He's ride or die with his pee-pee guy, Mr. Wydell. And today Wydell makes a appearance, and once again in Van Zant Court, the pee-pee is the hot topic on whether or not we get a bond revocation. So let's watch.
Dwayne Cotton, the court has already conducted the pretrial setting. The court has a reset pretrial, I believe, to May 11th at Mr. Manning's request. Mr. Cotton was requested to perform a urinalysis of exam by the pretrial release officer, Mr. Waddell. Mr. Waddell, if you'll raise your right hand, I'm going to place you under oath. Sir, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Waddell, as the pretrial supervision officer, did you conduct a urinalysis test on Mr. Cotton today?
Yes, sir.
And what was the results of that test?
The results of the test were positive for methamphetamine and for marijuana.
And did you have any discussions with Mr. Cotton about the results of that test?
Mr. Cotton denied using either substance since the last time he was reported in February.
Any questions,
Yes,
Mr. Manning?
yes, sir. Mr. Waddell, that's a field test, correct?
Yes,
And in order to receive a lab verification, you have that sent off, is that correct?
yes, sir.
And Mr. Cotton also provided information to you that he is under medical treatment for kidney issues and one or both of his kidneys, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as a matter of fact, he was recently hospitalized with massive kidney stones as well as a kidney disease that makes his kidneys not function at full capacity plus the pump thing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is it in your training experience, have you ever had cross contamination with prescribed medication that may lead to a false positive on a meth or marijuana type test?
I'm not aware of taking any medication.
May I have a motion?
And the lawyer's doing a good job here. He's trying. Puts on a good defense.
And you do believe that a lab verification would further verify the results for today's fields?
Yes.
No further questions.
Mr. Manning, what medication, if any, is Mr. Cotton on, so that we'll know whether or not that could be a...
Judge, my understanding is that he's not currently on medication, but he was on medication, and due to his kidney issues, my understanding is that the filtration of his kidneys to filter out toxins and other contaminants is altered from a normal person to read. I wouldn't know the cause contamination or effect on it would have on tests, which is why we're requesting the test.
Mr. Waddell, has Mr. Cotton ever given you a baseline on when the last time he used methamphetamine? If any?
We tested him last month and it was positive. It was not a baseline. He made the statement to me that he's used methamphetamines continuously, heavily. And that was his explanation for being in a system. I informed him that it was my understanding that methamphetamine does not stay in your system that long, in excess of 30 days or 30 days.
What was the result of the test last month after, did we send that off for verification?
No,
Do you recall if there's a reason why we didn't?
because of these same discussions, because of medical problems that he was instructed, I believe, by the board as well as by me, to do his best to provide a good sample today that would remove any doubt as to whether he is using or not using.
Okay, any further questions, Mr. Chairman?
No.
All right, court's going to find that Mr. Cotton has violated the conditions of his pretrial release by providing a sample that has tested positive for methamphetamines. Court will consider reinstating the bond upon the confirmation of the lab test that determines that there is no presence of methamphetamine and or the production of any medication that would cause the field test to test positive for methamphetamine. So court will consider reinstating the bail whenever that information is brought to the court's attention, if it does.
And Mr. Cotton asked if I could go with personal belongings from the vehicle outside and bring those so you can take those to jail. Thought we were lucky with that.
I have no concern with that. So Mr. Cotton, your bail is found insufficient at this time for those violations. I'm gonna go have you taken into custody at this time, and I'll set new bail here shortly.
So Judge Martin don't play. He's gonna get locked up, and pending the positive or negative PP test, he's gonna give him a new bond stipulations. When it comes down to it, is if you're on bond, don't do drugs. Okay, that's it. Done. Like, and then like people, I can see how you feel sorry for him, but you know what? Like, you're out on bond. You have a chance to do what you need to do. Don't F it up. That's what's going to happen. Especially in Judge Martin's court. Okay, so this next one, this guy's just going to get locked up and taken. This next one up. If this certain member of your family is looking at you on Zoom the way this certain defendant, I'm not going to give it away, family member is looking at him on Zoom, if it was my family member, it would have involved eyes, and then when I got home, a spoon. So just look, because if a picture is worth 1,000 words, I wonder how many beatings a picture is worth.
Step on the black line. Octavian Lewis.
All right, good morning, Mr. Lewis. This is case number 230-558-6301, People of the State of Michigan versus Octavian Lewis, counsel.
May it please the court, John Brewster, P 36920, on behalf of Mr. Lewis. And Your Honor, I'm present with his mother, LaToya Lewis.
So Mama Bird LaToya is not digging Mr. Lewis at this point. Look at that look. He did.
It's in my office, but he would waive a reading of the complaint and stand mute to these charges.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived in interest of not guilty plea on your client's behalf. I'll hear your argument as to bond.
He's 20 years old, Your Honor. He was living on Tarnow in the city of Detroit, but Ms. Lewis, his mother, informs me he can now live out in Sterling Heights with her during the pendency of this case.
He'd rather stay in
He has
jail.
strong family support, and
Stay
he
in
was
jail, dude.
working at a car wash, he told me the other day when I saw him at the DDC. So I'm asking for a reasonable bond, knowing that he has strong family support,
Oh,
and
he's got support.
the family is behind him 100%. Thank you.
Yeah, the support's
Do
gonna
you
be
have any more
hanging from the
specific
clothesline in the
requests, Mr.
backyard.
Bond?
I would recommend 25,000 personal. So if he doesn't show, then they owe a lot of money.
He ain't looking up. He's looking away. You could cut the tension with a knife. This poor boy. Even the judge is saying, oh God, if I release him, he's dead. Look at his mom. I don't even want to look at her. It's making the judge uncomfortable. And those DDC judges, they don't play. Look at mama. Uh-oh. Look at mama.
Surveillance cameras due to Rock Financial being in the area. Got 2 gunshot wound victims. While I do note that Mr. Lewis denied shooting anyone, it also states the investigator's report that he did identify himself during an interview as one of the folks in the photograph.
Even the lawyer.
The same person that they believe ran out, grabbed a firearm, and then fired shots.
Not
Search
the
warrant
arms.
done at the residence where they did not find a firearm apparently, but found multiple.
Now she has the genie pose. Arms folded. Look on her face. If that was my mother, oh my God. I would have Ubered home. Well, I wouldn't have Ubered. We're talking about the mid-90s. But I would have went to a friend's house, or when I got home, I would have been dead.
Multiple types of ammunition. Bond is going to be set in the amount of $50,000 cash surety out of a concern for community safety. If he's able to make that bond, he is going to be on full home confinement until the judge says otherwise. He is not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of the bond. He is to have no contact with either of the complainants in this case, meaning no verbal contact, no written contact, no contact with third parties or social media. Any attempted contact will be considered a violation of the conditions of the bond. He will have a bond redetermination hearing Monday in front of Judge McConico. So Monday the 13th, he'll be in front of Judge McConico for bond redetermination. After that, March 17th for the probable cause conference, and March 22nd for preliminary examination.
He's dead. We pray for you. At time served, we pray for you, buddy.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
She even stared at him on the way out. All right, this next one, we have a mix-up in Judge Dad's court. Judge McNally is having a problem because this guy is a junior and he's a senior and his son and da-da-da. But Judge Dad, 50s glasses and all, the Marty McFly shades, says some common sense. We get common sense out of Judge Dad. Do you expect anything less? Let's roll.
Thank you very much. You have a great day.
Yeah, we still got Mr. Boren, but
I
we're
know.
ready to go.
Right. And I have the defense lawyer here and I will call that momentarily. Blazinski. Stephen Joseph Blazinski Jr. 22M149206A and C. Your name?
Stephen Blazinski Jr.
Good morning, Your Honor. Michael A. Carmen, B73824, on behalf of the defendant.
I'm not sure what's going on this. Did he, the file was just handled, I don't have a stip. Was there a stipulation?
No, Your Honor. What happened here, it appears, is that the citation was supposed to be issued to Mr. Blazinski's son, who is Stephen Joseph Blazinski III. Mr. Blazinski here is the second. It seems that they both came on Zoom on December 27th. There was a note that Lisa printed out for the file. They were both on Zoom. Mr. Blazinski.
Wait a minute, this was doing, wait a minute. I mean, Judge Hessen was here and she wrote defendant failed to appear.
Mr. Blazinski, well, give the judge you can give him a better rundown of what happened.
What
that
is
day
it?
when you was hiding out.
What are you asking me to do?
We're asking for a dismissal as to him and a reissuance to his son.
Did you talk to the prosecutor about this?
I did. He has no further information about
Well,
it.
how do you expect me to do that? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
He doesn't know either. I mean, if you do notice, Your Honor, on the notice to appear that's in the file, somebody did write in a 3 next to his name. So meaning it should be sent to Stephen Blazinski III. My client here is Junior.
Junior.
mess. I don't still.
He's flustered.
Who's the officer in charge on this? We have no troopers.
And I did look at the bottom of the ticket. I can't remember his name right now. There's no police.
What year were you born?
What's that?
What year were you born?
1957.
It's got a 57 date of birth on here, on the citation.
Yeah, I was at home.
Listen.
My son was out, and he was born in 87. Oh, sorry.
I don't want you to say anything against your interest, but you can't just come in here and tell me this and expect me to dismiss it. How do I dismiss this? He says he wasn't there. They wrote a guy and they typed in March 6th of 57. I mean, I'll set it for trial if you want, but how can I just, I mean, you're asking me to do something I just cannot do.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I was just hoping there'd be some kind of, I don't know, administrative way we could resolve it, or if Mr. Blazinski's son would be willing to come in and say, yes, it was me driving, and they just printed and issued the citation to the wrong Stephen Blazinski.
It's got his date of birth. He looks like a guy that was born about my time.
I understand that.
And there's the common sense. He looks like a guy from 57. There you go. Case closed. Dismissed. Go. It's you. Out. But in all seriousness, I'm the fourth, and maybe back in the 90s when I got my license, maybe some of you out there the same thing. When you have, second, third, fourth, stuff like that, back then there may have been mix-ups and not a lot. But now in 2023, I mean, they never mix us up. So I don't know what this guy's saying. They write the 3, but he's right. Probably all the paperwork says everything about this guy. You can't just dismiss the case. This guy's just trying to get away with it, and he's throwing the blame on his son.
Well, he does.
But
I mean, and so it's hard for me to say that, well, the trooper put down 1957, which is right, about somebody 65, 66 years old, as opposed to somebody who's 39 or 40. So, I mean, most troopers wouldn't do that. Most officers wouldn't do that. Call in Mr. Shazra again.
But Mr. Lozinski, that plate that your son was driving in that car was registered to you, correct?
Yeah, it'll expire.
Yeah, so they pulled his son over for an expired plate, Your Honor.
Were you printed?
What's that?
Were you fingerprinted?
About 16, 17 years ago,
No,
yeah.
on this case, they
No.
take this. So you're saying it wasn't you. What are you, the second or a junior?
I'm a junior.
All right. Your appearance.
Good morning, Your Honor. Omar Shah on behalf of the people, PH 6332.
So I can't, he's asking me to dismiss. I can't just do that. Lisa, I would like your office. We're gonna set this out. Two weeks, March 21. Are you here that day? You are, right, Mr. Kerner?
I should be, Your Honor.
We're gonna set it at 10:30 in the morning. Lisa, send the state police notice also on this case. Tell them I would like Trooper Martin to appear. But Mr. Shazra, it's your office. It's your responsibility to get him here. So I'm gonna tell him complainant must appear. Complainant must appear. He can appear by Zoom if he wants. He can appear by Zoom if he wants. I'm talking about the trooper.
Yes, Your Honor.
But I want Trooper Dan Martin here by Zoom or in person. And then we'll get to the bottom of it. And that's what we'll do. So I'll reschedule this. You were arraigned, it looks like, by Judge Bronson last Tuesday, right? The visiting judge?
Yeah.
So we're gonna set this for March 21 at 10:30. And that's how we'll proceed. Anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you very much. That sounds like the best.
You are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by waiving.
Information about.
Okay, so you may have seen the video I dropped a couple days ago when this first came out, and it is hysterical. It's a hot mic in Cowlitz, and we dubbed him Judge Fluffernutter. He just looks like he should be a character on Candyland or something. He's just so nice, and they hot mic him so bad. Just listen, it's so bad.
The charging information. There are 11 charges. They are telephone harassment, threats to kill.
I mean, my back does hurt sometimes, but it could just be because I'm older now. But it doesn't impact my life really that much. Mm-hmm.
Is that coming from?
Nobody's on our screen that's talking. There's not anybody talking to your background, Ms. Fellows.
No.
I did. I was employed at a grocery store and slipped on a grape in the beer aisle of all places. Yeah, one grape, and pulled all the hamstrings in my leg.
It's not
right leg. And my case was
How many hamstrings does she have?
handled with a little bit of difficulty. I was a little upset with L&I because they harassed me
We got
at
a
home.
phone call in here. We can't figure it out.
And when my doctor told me not to work, they kept insisting I could go to do something. I could put my foot up on a desk or something and answer the phone. But that's not what my doctor told me to do. So I was a little irritated with them, with L&I. So, but I did get my case settled and I was medically taken care of. I didn't go to court or anything. It was just settled with
The only
them.
thing I think it was.
We might need to exit, Your Honor, and come back in.
Yeah, and everyone, we've got this additional noise going on. So I apologize for this. I'm gonna end this meeting, which means you'll all
Pulled
have
the
to log
hamstrings
back
in my
in,
leg.
okay?
And
And
the-
then
yeah,
hopefully we can
I did
take
like
care
the
of it.
German splits.
All right, thank you.
was great. The German splits. I can't believe it. So that was a clip from one of my videos. If you guys didn't catch it, it's just about a 3-minute video. It's up on my playlist. All right, so let's go into our last 2 clips. So that we have a crush on Judge DeSanto out of Wyandotte. Judge Mom with her investigative skills, but she's dealing with a tough one here. This lady has zero accountability for what she has done, and Judge Mom sniffs it out and solves the case yet again.
Names for the record, please.
Linda Perry, Lindager.
Holy moly! That's the first mole joke.
All right, thank you very much. And I'm glad to see that you are present. I know that there's a victim's rights letter mailed to you. And so what would you like the court to know, ma'am?
I just want them to know that they were opening accounts, closing my accounts. I was closing my accounts, they were reopening my accounts. They did try to get $3,389 out of my checking, which I didn't have that much in there. And it was stated that they were gonna pay off my one, get that out, pay off my one loan so they could take more money out. They did go to Discount Tire and spend over $2,800 in wheels and rims. In fact, when the detective went up to their home residency, laying right on top on the table was a bunch of receipts and stuff. And the detective told me my Discount Tire thing was right on top. And they went into my Best Buy, got stuff. They went into my Capital One and put stuff on that. They went into my BP and tried to up that. Myself, I had to report fraud on everything. So it didn't affect me because I was right on top of everything. I had 3 addresses that was on where the mail was going to. And I was going to the detective every day, giving them information. My bank, I went to my bank because they got a hold of me. And they tried to send out cards, change the address. And my credit union, they did, I went on a Friday to get everything changed, all my passwords. Sunday, I went into my account to recheck it, and I couldn't get into my account because they had changed all of my passwords and everything. And the teller that was taking care of me said she don't know how that was done, but they were really sneaky snakes.
So did you know Ms. Chilcott?
No, never seen them, don't know me. Detective went up there and talked with them, interrogated her. I think that's the one they interrogated. And that's
went up where? Where they?
In Detroit to the address.
Oh, okay.
Detective did. He called me to let me know when he went out to the home. She was the only one there. It was an upper flat. She was the only one there at the home at that time. And there was all the paperwork there.
Wait, so who's she talking about? Her or her friend Buck Melanoma? I'm Buck Melanoma, Moni Russell's wart. In the comments, tell me what movie's that from? Classic.
And she said she was getting paid, he told me $50 or $100, $50, I believe he said, for every letter that she received. And then she would give it to her boyfriend, which her boyfriend wasn't there at that time. But it just caused a lot of because we had just jobs for a year before that, so all this was coming out, and it was just so much stress on myself and my family at this time, and because we had other issues going on with our family. So, and then I ended up getting cancer the same year, so it was terrible. And for these people to do that, they need to go out and get a job. You know, it's devastating how they do people. You know, like I said, I was right on top of everything. And I have family that was in, you know, police officer and stuff. And I was kind of helping with everything too. And then my detective was helping me. But we did, like I said, just the anxiety and the grief and everything put so much stress on me at that time. And they were opening accounts. They tried to open a Sam's Club. I had never been to Sam's Club account. They sent me a letter. Like I said, they had a St. Mary's address up in Detroit. That's where everything was being sent, but they had two other. I had 3 names of people who checked on that was supposed to be at that residency. And, you know, I think they should get the max. And when I did talk to Detroit, what's up there, and she said that it's a thing that goes on and it's a group that does this. But.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Perry. Ms. Chilcutt?
Yes,
How did
ma'am.
you end up getting this? Did you hear everything Ms. Perry said?
Yes, I heard what she said.
How did you get her information?
I didn't have any knowledge of her information. My child's father asked me to receive some mail, and that's the only part I played was receiving the mail. I didn't know what was in the mail, what he was planning to do with the mail, or what cards came, or any of that information. And that's why I cooperated with the police and told them that this was who it was from.
Really, because in your statement that you gave to probation, you don't even remember talking to the police.
I don't remember talking to them. It was so long ago.
Did you live with Mr. Jackson?
No, I lived at St. Mary's and at the time that I talked to probation department, I didn't remember talking to them, but I do remember them coming out to my house and I gave them information on who the perpetrator was, which was my child's father.
Okay, so ma'am, here's what I'm going to say, right? Was the mail coming in your name or somebody else's name to the address?
I didn't know until it came what mail, what name was on it.
And that wasn't my question. The mail that came to the home, was it in your name or somebody else's name at your address?
Somebody else's name.
Okay, so you didn't think that there was something odd about it coming in somebody else's name to your address that didn't live there?
No, not at the time.
Some random person that you didn't even know, that name was on the address coming to your house. And you didn't think that was odd?
I honestly didn't even really pay attention to the mail like that.
No, that's not true. If you're getting paid and if your child's father, please don't interrupt, and your child's father was going to be paying you for each piece of mail received, or if you were to be paying attention to mail received, don't tell me that you weren't paying attention to the names on the envelope.
I never got paid for anything.
Okay, yet you have a history of attempted financial transaction device, illegal sale, felony financial transaction device possession. And so now you want me to believe that you had no idea as to what was going on with this information.
I do not know what was going on with the information. I had been done, that was in 2005, and I haven't had any dealings with him or stuff like that since 2005 and 2008.
Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe it was one of her family members. Maybe it was her mother-in-law.
Well, counsel, anything else?
Your Honor, just, I did not hear the victim allege a specific dollar. She has out-of-pocket expenses. I know
She indicated that she didn't have to pay any out-of-pocket expenses, that it was all covered by her bank and credit card company. I'm sorry, Ms. Perry, you can step forward and correct that if that's incorrect.
Now, she was saying that, this happened in 2014. She was saying she wasn't alleged about the names, or she did know it was a different name. But on my discount tire, when they went to purchase some tires, they purchased it under my name on the receipt, and everything just says my name. Says how much I do have paper that states that it was from discount tire, it was put under my name, but it was a pickup, so they didn't give an address when they were doing that.
So who owned the pickup truck that in 2014, ma'am?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know any of the information what he used. That's why I gave the police his name and said that anything that happened with anybody's account, you have to go after him because I don't know anything. I don't deal with him in that manner. The only dealings that I have with my child's father is on account of my son. I haven't done anything fraudulent with him since 2005 and 2008.
Well, in 2014.
I didn't know what mail was getting sent there. I didn't pay attention to it. I just gave him whatever mail that he asked for.
Okay, so why were there receipts at your home with Miss Perry's name on them?
I have no idea.
You didn't live together, you said?
No, we didn't live together.
Yeah, receipts with her name on them were at your home. Who owned a Chevy Caprice back in 2014?
I don't know.
Ma'am, I don't know is getting kind of old.
I don't know who owns a Chevy Caprice. I don't even remember what car he had back then. That was 8 years ago.
Your Honor, if I could, just perhaps she doesn't remember too well, or because she has treated for a mental condition. Her pre-sentence report says she's had depression, anxiety, bipolar. So it's could be related to that she did not recall clearly incidents from that time. And we would hope the court would allow her to continue to get her mental health, if that applies, while she's incarcerated. But,
and so, ma'am, all of your children reside with people other than you, correct?
Yes. They reside with
No, I had to go and file fraud papers on everything, and a lot of stuff we did catch, because I was right onto it in my detective.
Okay.
I was taking stuff to him right away, and he was doing what he had to do.
All right. And well, I'm pleased to hear that you didn't have any out-of-pocket expenses. That doesn't necessarily discount the fact that you probably had a lot more cost as far as emotional and mental and time in trying to resolve all of these issues. So what the court's going to indicate is that after review of the report and the recommendations, well, quite honestly, It's most unfortunate that this was reduced to an attempted larceny, because quite frankly,
Your Honor, you can't go back on the credit card places, or is that something they have to do?
what do you mean?
It was fraud. The credit card places can't come back after her.
Well, they may be able to, I don't know, and I'm not familiar with the statute of limitations, I don't know. But I will also state that, because this matter was in 2015, which I believe was kind of right at the start of when a lot of the fraud.
1 year, my out date is May 8th. I've been incarcerated since October 17th of this year. Of last year.
Okay, well, I'm going to indicate that this 45 days jail is to be served at the end of your current sentence. All right, and the court's going to suspend fines and costs at this point. All right, anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, anything else, Ms. Chilcutt?
So when I'm done with my sentence here, I have to serve an extra 45 days?
Yes.
Is no way to run it concurrent? Cause I was supposed to.
No, this court's not running it concurrent. You have similar convictions on your criminal record. You also, in the time that this matter was out with the warrant, you have an operating while impaired, disorderly person, operating while visibly impaired, and felonious assault. You also have 2 warrants out of 36 district court. So no. And it's obvious that the impact that your actions had on Ms. Perry have meant really nothing. You haven't apologized, you haven't expressed remorse, nothing.
I wasn't given a chance to say anything. I was waiting until you gave me a chance to speak on my behalf of what happened.
Okay, ma'am, I just asked if there was anything else, and your only question was when your out date wouldn't be in May anymore. You didn't ask if you could address Ms. Perry, you didn't ask any of that. Did you tell your attorney you wanted to talk to the court, you wanted to address the court?
No, I did not.
Okay, so what was it you'd like to say, ma'am?
I didn't get a chance. I was trying to get a chance to explain on my first court date that I know that I have previous dealings with my child's father for previous cases, but I had moved forward past that point in my life, and I haven't done anything fraudulent since those years, the years that are previously on my cases. I've made sure to stay out of any dealings with him. As far as that, the only dealings that I have with him is as far as my son, because my son is placed with him right now while I'm in custody. And I apologize if you had any emotional distress, any financial hardships. I did not know I wasn't aware of any of this until the police came to my house looking for him and looking for information. And I did cooperate fully with the police to tell them who the person was that they needed to find out. And I believe he did 18 months in prison for the charges back then.
And yet he still has custody, your child was still placed with him?
Yes. And I would just like to say if you would just allow me the chance, and I can pay back the money, but I really was, looking forward to getting out after my year, so that I could go back to work. I am,
She could care less about anything until she realized she was going to have to do an extra 45 days. Now all of a sudden she's begging and pleading. Give me a break. Next.
my job said that I could come back at Glory Supermarket after I'm released after a year. And anything that the court would like me to do, I am willing to do. I just would hope that you will give me that opportunity again, because I haven't been doing anything fraudulent since those other cases that I caught.
Okay, and ma'am, and that may be, you've committed other offenses, and that may be, you haven't committed anything fraudulent that you're indicating or that you've been charged with. But Ms. Perry went through a whole lot based upon yours and Mr. Jackson's actions. So 45 days jail, as the court already ordered. Thank you.
Your
Have a
Honor,
good day.
ma'am?
Right, off the record, yes?
Your Honor, ma'am, make sure, if you will, put consecutive to current sentence, because if you don't, they're automatically going to do concurrent.
Okay, thank you very much. Right.
Okay, that's not.
Okay, so next up is going to be a Judge Manning clip. I know the TPOs were going crazy, but this one I haven't seen yet posted anywhere. So this one is a good one between the Golden Girls down on the bottom. And Judge Manning gives a little golden rule advice to the ladies. Even the one with the something or other. It looks like a crawler on the top of her head.
So the question I'm asking, yes or no? You don't have any witnesses. Thank you. Ms. Jones, do you have any witnesses besides yourself?
No.
Okay. Ms. Ware, that gentleman that's sitting beside you, I don't want to hear a peep out of his mouth. So if he can't keep his mouth shut, he needs to leave the room, okay? Is this just between you three ladies? Now, Ms. Bambro, I'll let you start, then I'll hear from Ms. Ware and Ms. Jones, okay? Don't argue over one another. Don't interrupt one another. I am taking judicial notice that all three of y'all think everybody else is lying, okay? So you don't have to tell me she's lying. If you interrupt or if you talk over me, I'm going to mute you. So, and I'm gonna, and we don't need to be mean to one another, but I'm going to ask you, Ms. Bambro, what is the relationship? I use that term loosely. Were you friends previously? Are you neighbors?
Neighbors, Your Honor, and we were friends.
Okay, so what I want you to do, Ms. Bambro, first is tell me what Ms. Ware specifically did to you, not to anybody else. Whatever she did to your son, you're going to say she did to your son, doesn't matter, because this is with you and Ms. Ware. So tell me what she did to you specifically, and you got to give me dates. If you don't remember the exact date, like if you say she threw a rock at my car, you got to say February the 18th, she threw a rock at my car. And if you say she's called me and said things to me, I need to know how you know it was her. Same thing with Ms. Jones, okay? So you got to give me dates. If you don't remember the exact date, you can say 2 weeks ago, you know, the end of June, but you've got to tell me when and what happened. And I may interrupt you, so listen for me speaking. If I speak, stop talking, okay? So go ahead, Ms. Fambro, then I'll hear from Ms. Ware, then I'll hear from you, Ms. Jones. Go ahead.
Okay, February 6th, I got a call from a landlord that he getting calls from them saying that
I
I'm
can't
doing
hear
stuff.
what your landlord said. All I know is what you and them, nobody else.
Okay, they really they've been harassing me, trying to get me put out and calling Section 8. So it comes back to me that I had to go to numerous meetings to Section 8. We got everything squared out. I told her I wasn't gonna bother the neighbors. I didn't bother them. I stopped bothering them. But now it also becomes a problem because I still stay in the unit. which they don't want me here. So that's why they causing problems with me. And I've been trying to overlook it and everything, but it's happening every time. It's always somebody's coming saying something, and I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm just trying to have somewhere to stay.
But what is it that Ms. Ware has done to you specifically?
Well, Miss Ware, she specifically, she done called specifically my maintenance guy. He comes over here and fix stuff because I'm getting help for his housing. So she calls him on the phone, keeps saying stuff to him, and like I was saying, I'm tired of hearing about it. She don't want me to stay here anymore. She told them she want me to leave.
Why do you
She
think she doesn't
told
want you to stay there anymore?
because she told me herself if she don't like anybody anymore, she can get them put out. And after that, it started with the phone calls. It started with me going into the office all the time. It started when I have seizures on the front. She comes running out on the front. It starts with the trash man. She put her trash in my trash can. It just numerous things. People that pulls up, she have her son playing music 24/7 outside. When he comes back, this be like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning by my window. I try to be nice once and try to address that. But then I got angry a couple times, but it never stopped. He said his mama said he can do whatever he want over here. So my privacy for us where I stay at is not private because they keep getting on the phone and calling everybody about it, and it keep coming back to me, and I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm just trying to have somewhere to stay, but I can't have nowhere to stay because my rent man always coming with issues about her calling him
Well,
or
let me
who
ask you a
called
question.
him or who
Is
said
that,
something.
is that subsidized housing for the three of you? All of you live in subsidized housing?
No, just two of us.
Okay, so who lives in the subsidized housing? You and who else?
And Miss Jones.
Okay. All right. So what has Miss Jones done to you specifically?
So Miss Jones and Wilma Maid, they transfers my information back and forth. Cause one time when I was cool with them, I had filled out an application. It's called Insane Cookies up here off Moreland. So my information somehow her daughter was the manager up there, Miss Jones' daughter, and somehow they got all my information back. Now Miss Williams, I had to try to get my driver's license back, and I had her daughter to send out some information for me. All of a sudden, she got my information. I'm thinking we supposed to be neighbors. We supposed to be better than this. We supposed to be growner than this. I even used to help them clean up, but since I didn't want to cooperate of what's going on in my house or let them in my business, now it's a problem. Miss Jones, I got a text message said that my son gave her my phone number. This was on the 9th of February, saying that I talk too loud. She don't care if my father is dead. Dig him up. And it's like it's constantly, it's just every like all the
Yikes.
time.
I
They
didn't hear that
telling they
one.
people lies on me instead of telling them the truth. They telling them lies on me because they don't want me over here. And I can't even deal with my health because I'm hearing all the time from my maintenance man and from my rent man about them. And I don't be in their business like that. I just want my privacy in my own and have my own business to myself. But it haven't been like that since I moved over here after a couple of months ago after I stopped dealing with it. Miss Jones, the guy that I got into it with, he ends up back over by my house. But they say my son told the boy to come over here. Even though I was on probation for the boy, he's knocking on my door like it was okay. But they coming out of her house. But between Miss Jones and Miss Williams, both of them still in my business about what I can do in my house or telling somebody else what's going on in my house. Just waiting to call somebody on the phone and say something about me. And I'm not even in a business like that. I try to be as nice as possible and neighborly as possible, but they just made it impossible now because they always in my business.
All right, let me hear from Miss Ware. Go ahead, Miss Ware.
I don't know what kind of lies she making up. I don't know nothing about her business. Yes, we used to be friends. I have helped her a lot, and she tells the truth. I've never been in her house since she lived there. Never been in her yard but one time. And when she's all of a sudden, when I stopped talking to her, she started out just sending the police, just calling this and calling that. I don't care nothing about her standing there, but she, every time, even the last officer come out here, told her, why don't you get a harassment thing? Because when they come out here, nothing. I ain't never put no trash in her trash can. I haven't even spoke to this lady in 2 years and 9 months. She hardly ever see me. I hardly ever see her. I don't know, and don't know 5 people live in my house. There's nobody but me, my husband, and son. My son don't come near her window with no loud music. Yes, when she started calling the police over here for unnecessary stuff, I called the rent man and asked him to tell her to leave us alone.
You the landlord?
Even the officer told me, why don't you get a harassment thing? I didn't want to do that because at first she was nice. She used to sit up here and tell me when she went to prison and how her family did. I was always nice to her. All of a sudden, she started to do it. She called the court enforcement, said we didn't cut our grass. That wasn't none of her business. She stay over there, I stay over here. I don't even look at her. She hardly even see me. So that's mean I don't. Where the 5 people? When my son come home, he parked his car side the road. Why would I put trash in her trash can when I got 2 of my own? These are the kind of lies she make up. And yes, I called the rent man and asked him to tell her to leave us alone. We not bothering her. I don't care about her. I don't bother her. I don't speak to her. If she come out her door, I don't even look at her, which I hardly see her. She hardly see me. So I don't know what is she talking about. I never been in her house a day in my life. I went in her yard because I carried her to the grocery store one time and I had to help her to get the groceries out the car, and I set it on the porch. Never been back down there. I said, I don't know nothing about her information. She got on here. I told my daughter to beat her up. Why I do that? My daughter leave at 4:30 in the morning to go to work. When she come back, it's 8 o'clock. Why would I do that anyway? All I want her to do, leave us alone. I never call the police to send down there. She do all this old unnecessary stuff, make up all these lies. I guess because we don't have nothing to do with her no more. Because at first we were good friends. We brought her in like one of our family. I nurtured her when she sat up here and told me about.
Thank you, Miss Ware. Miss Jones, go ahead.
I haven't did anything to anyone. We got into it by some words. She called me all kind of fat names. And I told her to stay off my side. And I talked to the landlord about dividing it, but he don't want to do nothing because of her money. He don't want to lose her money. I could get along with her. I just want to be divided because every time we walk out the porch, I could see her house. I could hear her house. I could hear through the wall, but it was a house before it was a duplex. We have to walk out on the porch together. That's when I don't understand why she got a protection order on me. She had to come through my backyard, my driveway. We have to go to the mailbox together. I don't do anything to her. I would never harm her. She was never my friend. She was just somebody moved here. I've been here at the beginning when the man first made the house. I don't do nothing to nobody. She even had me going down house and reported false stuff on me. I threatened her with a gun. I never in my life hold a gun, shot a gun. You can look at my back record in the 90s and 80s. Never nothing like this. I've been good. I'm a good Christian. I love the Lord. I don't bother nobody. And the other lady could tell you that too. I don't talk. I go back and forth to the doctor. I'm under the doctor too. I don't bother nobody. I don't threaten nobody. I haven't done anything to her. She trying to get me out of here and make me move.
Okay.
And all the stuff goes on. I don't say
Okay,
anything.
that's enough. That's enough. That's enough.
Okay.
See if y'all have ever heard of this lady. Just shake your head if you've ever heard of this lady. Let's see, her name. Pretty famous. Michelle Obama. You ever heard of her? Everybody nod your heads. You ever heard that also she said we got the responsibility to live up to the legacy of those who come before us by doing all we can do to help those that come after us. Y'all ever heard her say that? Now, do y'all think this behavior is living up to the legacy of those people who came before us? And is this what you want to do to help everybody that's going to come after us? Is this behavior and everything y'all are doing going to help the people that are coming after all of us? Ms. Fambro?
It's not gonna help, but it's sad that I had to come to this to even do it.
It's sad that you three women have enough struggles as it is, and then you're putting struggles upon each other that you don't need. All of y'all need to be lifting each other up and trying to help one another, because it's hard enough out there. If y'all are single mothers, if you live by yourself and you're not a single mother and you're struggling on your own, you need help of those people around you and trying to get you kicked out of any sort of subsidized housing if you're struggling, or trying to make trouble for somebody. When, trust me, you ain't got to make trouble for somebody. If they need trouble, they'll make it on their own. You ladies need to be out there supporting somebody, whether you're friends now, used to be friends, doesn't matter to me. But this is something that shouldn't even have been in my courtroom. This is something that grown women could have sit down and talked up together. If somebody's playing their music loud, be respectful. You know, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. That's it. I mean, come on, everybody's mama told them that.
That's true.
You are not leaving something good, and we're not, none of us, and I'm including me. Are we all living up to that, to the legacy of the people that came before us? Trust me, my dad reminds me of that all the time. I don't know if we are or not, but the way a lot of us behave during times, we're not. A lot of people have fought long and hard to get us where we're at. We got to get our act together, myself included, and do better for everybody and people out here that we can help. And sometimes it's just little things. Sometimes it could just be smiling and saying good morning. Sometimes it could be just leaving somebody alone because you don't like them. Just leave them alone. Let them live their life. Would y'all really want someone kicked out of subsidized housing and be homeless like they are out here near the courthouse? Is that what you want for your fellow man? No, it's not. Because if it is, then you got bigger problems than this. What I'm begging of you ladies is to sit down and be adults. All of y'all are going to need one another at some point in time. I'm not putting this in place because this is neighbors that are getting all up in everybody's business, somebody looking out the window. But look, what you need to be doing is looking out the window and making sure that your neighbor's safe, not stirring up trouble for your neighbor. I want you ladies, if y'all don't like one another, leave each other alone. Don't try to ruin the other one's life. If their life's going to be ruined, they're going to do it on their own. They don't need any help. But lift each other up, especially these hard times when you turn on the news and folks are getting shot, kids are getting shot, kids are killing, these mothers are burying their children, wives are burying their husbands, husbands are burying their wives. I mean, it's ridiculous. COVID's still out there. It's still killing people. We got our mothers and fathers that are dying and people. It's just insane. This, y'all could have settled this. Y'all are all obviously probably very phenomenal women. Get out there, do phenomenal things. Make this place a better place to live for everybody else that comes after us. And I'll try to do the same thing. And I'm right there with you. If there's anything that we can ever do to help you out, besides y'all complaining about one another, putting you in touch with people that have services or stuff like that to help you in times that you are, please do not hesitate to reach out. I'm denying this, but y'all put your emails in the chat. We'll send you a copy of the order. And I think Ms. Freed and Ms. Sandifer, that it was a short calendar for the 9:30, but we have some at 11. We will be.
Little knowledge drop, little name dropping by Judge Manning. That was good. She got deep there. All right, I wasn't gonna do it. Gonna give you a bonus clip. Judge Middleton, along the lines of making the world a better place, this couple just makes it a hell of a lot worse, and you'll see why.
All right, now the next case is somewhat similar. This is Michaela Sage versus Kelsey Kelly and Dalton Bickings. Same house once again, 437 East.
Now I don't want to hear in the comments that I had a buzz sounding in the background and time served as the TV on and all that other stuff in the back. That is Middleton's court. Somebody's cutting down a tree or there's construction in one of their Zoom calls. It ain't me this time.
Michigan. I grew up in that neighborhood, just a couple blocks away from where this house is. Ms. Sage, this is your house and you'd like them to move?
Yes.
Are you related?
No.
Is there a lease
No.
that you just let them move in?
I allowed them to move in after I found out that they had their children living in a tent, Your Honor.
Are the children there too?
Yes.
Living with your parents. That's so funny.
Miss Kelly, what's your position here?
We was living with Dalton's parents at the time. We was not in a tent when she let me move in her home, Your Honor. She told me and my children to come in this home, and there was no verbal agreement for rent. There was none of that. There wasn't even a written agreement for rent. She had me and my children move in this home, Your Honor. And I was not in a tent as I moved in this home.
All right, well, slow down. Now she wants you to move out. It's her house. You don't have a lease and you're not paying any rent. So dial back on the indignity. She wants her house back. You and her children are living there. You're not paying any rent and she wants you to move. You're in the same boat as the last folks. They're living there without benefit of a lease and the landlord wants them to move. So I'm going to continue this also to next Friday, which will be a really fun day.
What's wrong with these people?
March
I
17th
swear.
at 2:40. So it's her house. Apparently she let you in there. This might go into the category of no good deed goes unpunished, but now she wants you to move. Have you got any options at a place to go to?
I'm in the middle of waiting for Keystone to call me. I talked to them yesterday. They're supposed to call me today or tomorrow sometime.
Very good. All right, we'll be here next Friday at 2:40. And if she's gonna get what she asked for, I will give you 10 days from them, which would be March 27th to move out.
Your Honor,
Yes?
may I ask for sooner than that regarding the fact that there has been police altercation between all three of us parties, as well as the fact that there are messages from Kelsey via voice message on my Facebook of her threatening my safety and threatening to kick my butt in my own home, Your Honor.
All right.
Okay,
let's
no,
talk
give me this,
about
give
that.
me the phone.
Let's
Give me the
talk
phone,
about
Dalton. Give me the
that.
phone.
Kelsey,
Yes,
you're
she's
living
had
as
2
a
overdoses
guest.
of heroin in this house as
Stop.
well. So I'm about to pick up
Stop.
the phone. I can't do
Miss
this.
Kelly,
I wanna know why I have to talk while you ain't talking though.
Let me talk, you I can talk.
Here then, I don't want to talk. I
All
can't.
It becomes very hostile
stop,
here,
stop,
Your Honor.
stop, stop.
You guys are a liar with your heroin dose.
All right, Miss
Heroin
Kelly,
ODs. Yes, sir.
Miss Kelly,
Yes, sir.
would you like me to order you be out today and have the sheriff come put you and your children out in the street?
Nope. Because then I
All
don't
right,
have
then stop. Then you will be respectful and no threats, no Facebook posting. If I find that it's going on next Friday, I'll do an immediate eviction. You're there as a guest. You've got no lease, you're not paying any rent, and you're a tenant at sufferance. And so I don't want to hear any more about this, or I will order an immediate eviction. This is a very uncomfortable circumstance, and I feel for your children, and don't light a cigarette while we're in the court proceeding.
We all feel for your children.
So we will address this again next Friday at 2:40. If I find that there are threats or other things happening between now and then, I will order an immediate eviction. So you should stay working with Keystone. This lady brought you into her home with your children because you needed a place.
Call me whatever. Call me this. Call me that. But you have 2 parents. They're sitting in the middle of the day with nothing to do. Can one of you try to go out and get a job? Seriously.
To stay, and it sounds like you've worn out your welcome. So that's where we are. We will address this next Friday at 2:40. I don't want to hear any assaultive or threatening language or behavior, no property destruction. You're there hanging by a thread. So I will see you next Friday at 2:40 here. Mr. Bickings, thank you also.
Well, there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night. See you tomorrow, Monday, for a live show. I got a Judge Kim special. It's been real. Good night. See you later, nerds.